to New Orleans. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APWSPORTS signing in, and welcome to another Chicago Bears weekly preview as the Bears come into Week 9, 2-6 on the NFL season, and they're traveling on the road to take on the 4-4 New Orleans Saints in the Dome in New Orleans. So let's just get into what we think is going to happen, matchups, previews, and my prediction of this upcoming Bears contest. But without further ado, let's dive into it. First, we're going to talk about this Bears offense going up against this Saints defense. And Tyson Bagent is making his third consecutive start this week, going up against a Saints defense who I personally believe is one of the better defenses, led by guys like Cam Jordan, led by guys like Demario Davis, who was questionable coming into this ball game, Marshon, Lattimore from The Ohio State University, Tyrann Mathieu. They have a really good defense in New Orleans. And I think for the Bears to have some sort of success in a ball game like this, they are still going to have to find ways to be successful in the running game with Roschon Johnson, with Deontay Foreman. Darrynton Evans is probably going to get some carries as well. But Bears still have some offensive line questions. Nate Davis coming to this game questionable, didn't play last week. So it's just interesting to see how this Bears offensive line is going to kind of shape up against the front with Jordan, with Granderson, who can make plays, Shepard and Sanders on the interior. And that's, I don't want to mess up his name, but Compaxignon, I hope I'm getting that right. He's also a good rotational piece in that defensive front for the New Orleans Saints. So the Bears, like I always say, protection must, running game must. Find ways to get your weapons involved. DJ, Darnell, Mooney, Tyler Scott. You're going to have to find ways to get these guys involved. Kmet as well. Because last week just wasn't so good successfully, especially in a running game front for the Bears. The Bears just could not get anything going last week against the Chargers. And they are going up against the Saints defense, who I think have one of the more solid secondaries with Marcus May, Tyrann Mathieu, a name that I didn't mention, but he can make plays around in his defense. Isaac Yiadom, Taylor, Adebo. They have a really good secondary with the New Orleans Saints, and they've done a lot of things good in coverage. Now, something that is kind of a deficiency of this Saints defense as far as their secondary goes is they have a tendency to rack up some pass interference calls. They have a tendency to get some defensive holding and calls like that. Now, you're going to have guys separate, and that is easier said than done against this secondary. And Tyson Bagent, you're going to have to find ways to make him comfortable. Now, I always told you guys that some of the things in the Raiders game was a bit of a fluke. It's not like Tyson Bagent can't play, but we all know the Raiders were bad. We see what's going on with them now. And last week, he has some struggles. Now, we all know what Tyson Bagent can do. He can get the ball out quickly. It's just sometimes he misreads, and I see every quarterback does that. It's just the tendency that he does is a little bit higher than others. Is he going to be more comfortable? Can Luke Getsy call a game plan that can get the weapons involved and that can make things easier for Tyson Bagent heading into his third start in the NFL? It's going to be interesting to see how Luke Getsy can scheme up this offense against the defense that is as talented as the New Orleans Saints defense is. Blocking Cam Jordan, blocking Granderson. Warner from The Ohio State University is also a solid linebacker from them. So I just think that in order for the Bears to have some success, running the football is always going to be key. And hopefully that can kind of transition into some of the rollouts, some of the play actions to kind of mix things up and mix up the looks that the Bears can give, whether it's some motions, whether it's some sweeps. Just mix up looks and mix up some coverages so this Saints defense can struggle a little bit with defending your weapons. Now we have this Chicago Bears defense going up against the New Orleans Saints offense. And the first thing that we are all going to look for with this Bears defense is, how is Matt Eberflus in this defense going to ingratiate a guy like Montez Sweat coming off the trade? How many snaps is he going to get? How many reps is he going to get? How is he going to look going up against this Saints offense in his first game as a Chicago Bear? Now, I'm probably going to say he's not going to see, I'm not going to say a ton of snaps, but this is not like a guy who's coming off the streets. He's in shape. He's in football shape. And I'm just wondering, what ways is Matt Eberflus going to ingratiate Montez Sweat into this Bears defense? Now, we kept Jalen Johnson. Jaquan Brisker is looking like a doubtful or questionable coming into this ballgame. Tremaine Edmunds is also questionable. And if those two guys are out, those are going to be some big losses going up against, I think, a really good quarterback in Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams in their running game, and things that they can do after that. Taysom Hill, the way that this offense used him in dynamic ways, whether it's lining up behind center, having him spread out, they are going to have to find ways to defend Taysom Hill. Then you have the two Ohio State wide receivers in Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, who can beat any type of coverage. Rashid Shaheed, we've seen what he can do with his speed over the last couple of weeks. He can take the top off of defense, which leaves so much open for Olave and Thomas. Juwan Johnson has been playing solid at the tight end position. Jimmy Graham has been a weapon for them. And they also have a solid offensive line. So I'm really interested to see how the Bears in this front four are going to slow down the running game, because the Saints, they can run the football. Kamara being back healthy, Jamal Williams being back healthy, they can run the football. The Bears have been better over the last couple of weeks as far as slowing down the run. It's just the injuries to the secondary have not been good. Eddie Jackson didn't play last week. He was in uniform, but he didn't play. Duron Harmon, the guy who they just picked up, has been seeing some of those reps. And a different subject for a different day, but is Eddie Jackson seeing his last game as a Bear? Who knows? But it's interesting to see how this Bears coverage with the injuries and the guys being out is going to face a wide receiving core like this. And I think Derek Carr can, I honestly believe he's a really good quarterback. And when he's on his game, I think he can really pick apart any type of defense. It's just, how are they going to create pressure? Is Montez Sweat going to be a difference maker, as in taking blocks away from Ngakoue? Whether it's DeMarcus Walker when he's in the game, Pickens, Billings, Jones. How are these guys going to necessarily be affected by the presence of Montez Sweat, and can they get after Derek Carr? Now, the Saints offensive line is a really good one with McCoy, Reeves, Ramczyk. It is a really good offensive line. Andrews Pete as well. I really believe that this Bears team has to get pressure. This Bears team has to be a physical force up front. And if Edmunds is unable to go, I think what he does as far as leadership and calling the plays for this defense is going to be huge if he's not in the ball game. So they are going to need that front four to make more of an impact, to take some of the pressure off the injuries in the secondary, to take some of the pressure off of the linebacking core if Edmunds is not able to go in a ball game like this. But my pick is in, and my pick for this game will be the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Bears right now are built from a team that cannot come from behind. And the struggles that we've seen for the Chicago Bears offense for most of the year are still there. They have not been able to successfully throw the football consistently. The Bears have not been able to have a truly consistent running game. The offensive line has been struggling. And I just don't think in a game like this, on the road, against the Saints defense that can create turnovers and create havoc, and against a Saints offense who can score points with their speed and the things that they can do. I just don't see the Bears winning this ball game, and I'm going with the Saints, and I'm going to pick a score of 24-14. The Saints win this game at home. But that's all I have. Make sure you guys leave this video a like, comment your thoughts on the game below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. But I'm APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great next day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.